Right, welcome back to a short video today from Whizbits Random Gaming. And a few days back, 4 or 5 days, Blaze Entertainment released their roadmap for 2024 for the Evercade system. Now, one of the more interesting things that they tell you on this 2024 roadmap is that they're planning 2 pieces of hardware for later on this year. What is it that they're bringing out? Could it be an update to the EXP, which had a bit of a rough ride when it was released? Battery issues, sound issues. There was quite a few things wrong with the EXP. I have not had any myself, touch wood, but could they be bringing out an update to that? Could it be a Versus, an updated one with more power so that they've got more potential to release other types of games, like more N64 stuff, potentially PS2 stuff? Or could it be the Super Pockets? Because I would imagine that the Super Pockets have been fairly profitable for Blaze, and I would imagine the deals to get games on them without being in physical cartridge form have been a lot easier to make happen. So I've got a feeling it might be Super Pockets, but that's whether or not the Super Pockets actually fit in with the Evercade range. That's debatable. So let's have a look. Throughout the 12 months, we've got 12 cartridges. 2 we've already had released and 2 announced, which you can see there. You've got the Pico and we've got the Sunsoft Collection 2. So then we've got 2 games in July. Then we've got hardware in July as well, with 2 releases in September, more hardware in November, and then rounding the year off, your November and December releases. So then ones will be going in everyone's stockings. So what games do we expect to see with the remaining titles announced for 2024? So we haven't had many arcade collections as of late, so I do expect some more stuff from the arcade stuff. I don't think we're going to get the big companies that everyone always talks about when they make questions. You know, who do you want to see on the Evercade? Your Konamis, your Segas and stuff like that. And to be honest, I'm absolutely fine with that, because you can play them games anywhere and it's pretty easy to do so. So if they do come out, that's great, but I can live without them. I'd like to see the more unknown arcade games, the ones that are more obscure, come out, if they do at all. So yeah, let's hope there's a few more arcade ones come our way out of the remaining 8 releases. But I'd also like to see more independent stuff. I think with the success of Full Void, from a critical perspective, I think Blaze might be looking at maybe 1 or 2 single game cartridge releases once again, and I'm okay with that as long as they have the quality that we got with Full Void. Maybe a game that's a little bit longer if it's going to be a single cartridge. Full Void wasn't that long, but it does have some fairly decent replayability value on it. And I would like to see more independent games on the system. I do, and I don't know if the actual owners of the company Blaze have this sort of vision, but I've got a feeling that there's only so much they can do with the retro releases on physical cartridges. I think at some point they're going to have to make a lot of indie style games the home of the Evercade when it comes to physical formats. It'll still be a mixture nevertheless, but I think they're really going to have to focus on that, because at some point, you know, it dries up. The quality of the retro stuff out there will dry up, but that's not for a long while. So do we think we're going to get, in terms of hardware, a new Versus, something that's more powerful, something that, you know, can play the more difficult to emulate titles and systems, such as your N64 stuff? I know we've got Glover on the way, but that's just the one game, and even that is having to be edited in order for it to be fully functional on the system. We also got the PS1 stuff. We've seen PS1 stuff running on the system, but I don't know if they could run the entire library or whether or not it's select games. Blaze give the indication that it can run pretty much any PlayStation 1 game when you see comments and stuff like that on Twitter, on their Facebook, but that remains to be seen. So talking about it, could it be another handheld that's dedicated to the Evercade? So we've already had 2 of these, and we've had various formations of them. With the OG, we've got the original white and red, we've got the limited edition black, we got the limited edition purple, you know, so there's been a few variations of that, and we've moved on from that system, and understandably so. However, I'm not in favour of them bringing out a new handheld because the EXP isn't that old. Yes, it did have some issues, we all know that, they're very well documented, but for me personally, I don't want to see a new one. I think there's still life in the current EXP, and I think the quality of it is enough to carry the company forward in the handheld department for the foreseeable future. So then we get on to the Evercade, the Super Pockets. And that's where the debate comes in with this. Are they part of the Evercade family? Yes, they can play Evercade games, but do they count as Evercade hardware within the 2024 roadmap? Now, they're well within their rights, Blaze, to include it because it is essentially a sister company to Blaze. And I wouldn't be surprised to see something like this down the line. They have, as I've said previously, made deals a lot easier with, you know, the EXP is a good example with Capcom. And then we've got it on the Super Pocket, the same with the Capcom deal and the Tatio deal as well. So, you know, who knows, we might get a Konami one of those or a Sega one, although Sega have sort of reined in their licensing fees recently. Well, not so much their fees. From what I've heard, their fees have gone up, but they don't lease out their IPs as frequently as they used to. There was a time when, you know, anyone could rock up and just lease Sega's IPs, but them days seem to be gone. So it could be a Super Pocket, it could be 2 Super Pockets, and that's okay. I think I'm done buying hardware like that. I've got the first 2, and if there's another 2 come out, it's going to be very dependent on what the games are before I commit. Now, what I would like to see on a personal level is what you can see on the screen now. I would like this to be replaced. Now, I've got no problem whatsoever with the Evercade Versus controller. I quite like it, in fact. However, I think we need one now that's got analog sticks if we're going to progress. And as much as it's part of the retro experience to have a corded or lead on your control pad, I think we've moved on to the point where everyone, even your retro gamers, are very, very comfortable and prefer playing with a wireless pad one way or the other. So I'm hopeful that we can get something, even if it's not made directly by Blaze, maybe something in conjunction with a company like 8-Bit Dough. So that's my personal want anyway. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, and I'll catch you on the next one.